The UK government wants technology companies to block explicit images on phones and computers by default to protect children, with adults having to verify their age and to access such content, the FT report said. Ministers want the likes of Apple and Google to incorporate nudity detection algorithms into their device operating systems to prevent users taking photos or sharing images of genitalia unless they're verified as adults. If the UK gets its way, operating systems like iOS and Android prevent any nudity from being displayed on a screen unless the user has verified they're an adult through methods such as biometric tricks or official ID, which has initially focused on mobile devices, but their push could actually expand to desktops if this is ever required to be installed on someone's phone. Though, do you feel like it could potentially be misused in some way?
I feel like the answer is yes. I just can't think of how. We covered in the past when Apple was thinking about rolling out, they wanted to do like client side scanning for illicit content like CSAM. They ended up not doing it because one of the pushback was like, well, what happens when a government pressures you to like scan for people who are at a certain protest or something like that? And they ultimately decided they couldn't do it in a way where they couldn't ensure that that kind of abuse wouldn't happen. So they ultimately decided not to do it. And I feel like it's got to be the same here. It's really weird story. Like to just blanket do that to everyone's phone, to require everyone to age verify just to use their phone. I feel like Apple especially has already put in a lot of protections. Like if it is a minor account, then they have all these like things are blurred by default. You can report something that makes you uncomfortable.
It's insane because what they're saying is not okay, you can't send or receive nudity, right? That's not just what it is proposing. It's proposing that you can't even take pictures of it. So something in the camera app must able to detect, okay, this is genitalia, you can't take a picture of your genitalia. Will it just block you from just accessing adult websites, or websites that may be considered not safe for work? Because it seems to me like the extent of this blocking is incredibly invasive. But I feel like this is even worse than chat control, because it kind of expands it from beyond the messages into everything you do on your phone.
There was a story a few years ago in the New York Times about a guy who his son was developing some kind of rash around his genital area, and the guy talked to his doctor. I want to say this was during lockdown. So the doctor was like, "Tell you what, take some pictures of it, keep an eye on it, if it gets worse, come in." And so the dude started taking pictures of his kid, and because it was an Android phone, it was auto synced to Google Drive. Google flagged it and shut down his account and sent everything to the cops. This is the part where the story gets even worse. The cops investigated, found that everything was above board. They even told Google, and Google said, no, we're still going to leave his account turned off. It's just the laziest possible solution. Let's just go to like the lowest level that's the least amount of work, even though it's going to screw over everybody. And, 99% of people who are just law abiding citizens